And stops him right
Wow! What is that movement, Ice? What is that movement? Completely playing with Armada. Just, I'm here. Come, out match you.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Turndownforwalt here. In this episode of Frame Data, we're going to turn the clocks back to 2016 and take a look at the winner semi set between Ice and Armada at B6. Even though the set ended as a 3-0 in Armada's favor, we're going to zoom in on Ice and illustrate how players can apply pressure without even hitting their opponent. We'll be examining the first stock of Game 2 in this set, which showcases one of the most memorable pieces of intimidation movement in Melee's history. In this single stock, Ice shows us the meaning behind purposeful movement and how someone can create a high-pressure scenario by just standing there, menacingly.
He's right on top of me, but I can't see him. What's he doing?
He's just standing there, menacingly! Get out of there, SpongeBob!
Before we dive into this episode of Frame Data, please be sure to subscribe and turn on bell notifications to stay up to date with the channel. If you'd like to be a producer of the channel, please check out my Patreon. $5 patrons will gain access to scripts and thumbnails from videos like these, and for just a little bit more, you can even be featured in the credits at the end of my videos. Let's check it out. At the time of this set, 2016's SSBM rank placed Ice at 13th in the world against the world's #1 player, Armada. Through this tournament, Ice showed off his Fox, Sheik, and Marth, but it was pretty safe to say that he'd be going Fox against Armada. So the character question comes down to whether Armada will play Peach or Fox. Game 1 of this set was a Fox Ditto, and Ice actually SD'd on his last stock to give Armada the win. After a narrow victory, Armada switched to Peach, which is a good character select for Armada with Fountain of Dreams as the stage select. In general, this stage assists characters like Peach who have largely horizontal or edgeguard heavy kill options, but are vulnerable to dying off the top due to the stage's high ceiling and narrow side blast zones. The moving platforms can also create a situational pseudo-final destination on certain sides of the stage, which gives Peach a position-dependent chain grab against Fox. In episode 4 of Frame Data, we talked about some of the specifics regarding platform heights on Fountain of Dreams, but for the purposes of this game, we'll only need to pay attention to the starting heights of the side platforms. Armada is in port 1, meaning he's going to spawn above the left platform of Fountain of Dreams to begin this match. This is arguably a better position than Ice's initial spawn on port 2 above the right platform, since the left platform is at a lower starting location. Theoretically, when Armada's on top of this platform, he can short hop and initiate a float to create positioning essentially the same as a full hop float from the ground. Through the use of float, Armada can still cover a large range from this lower platform, which Ice would have a more difficult time dealing with in his higher starting position without trading or conceding stage. The vertical area Armada is able to control grants him a small amount of hypothetical advantage from the beginning of the match. When the game starts, we see Armada full hop off the platform into a float and Ice drop through the platform to use a laser. This is a perfectly fine start. Since the game did just begin, it could be an overly aggressive move for Ice to attempt to trade with a floating Peach this early into the game. Armada falls down with a fair, and Ice is rewarded with a free laser off of Armada's miss. This point marks a true neutral for Ice and Armada, since both players are at ground level with no alternating platform heights to create theoretical advantage or disadvantage states. After a couple dash dances from Ice, Armada initiates a float at a similar height to the beginning of the match. With Ice now at ground level, it becomes slightly harder for him to contest this positioning without committing heavily, so he holds his ground and fires off a few more lasers to rack up percent. Armada lands at about center stage with a missed bear, and Ice can now move into punish. Ice full hops towards center stage, but does not exert any additional pressure when seeing Armada's second dash back after a float. Instead, Ice double jumps, wavelands on the top platform, and begins a dash dance. He gets clipped by Armada's rising up air, but Armada can't get much more off of it. Peach's up air is interruptible as soon as frame 34, and we see this here where Armada becomes actionable. Because he's so close to the platform, however, Armada needs to land before he can follow up with another move. During the short landing window, Ice dashes off the right side of the top platform and attempts to drill. We see right here that Ice just starts to fall off the platform as Armada begins to come up with a back air. Before going into the frame data, what do you think will happen here? If you answer that the moves would trade, you'd be correct. Generally speaking, trading hits is a fairly large component of Peach's game plan. Since many of her moves have strong and lasting hitboxes, it can be beneficial for her to take a hit if it provides an edgeguard opportunity or, at best, a stock. Of course, the same principle can be applied to any character for any match, but we're going to highlight it here specifically since Armada uses trading to great effect in many of his sets. The neat thing about this interaction when frame advancing is seeing just how these moves are able to trade though. Peach's back air is a strong, solid hitbox which stays active for a large portion of its 44 frame duration, while Fox's drill actually has short windows of time where it's not active. So it may be possible to see a bizarre situation where Armada could sneak between active hitboxes of a Fox Dare, which would likely just result in Peach's Bear beating Fox outright. Since Peach's Bear begins on frame 6 and Fox's Dare begins on frame 5, the way these moves trade here is the result of Armada beginning his back air 1 frame before Ice's down air. As previously discussed, this trade benefits Armada greatly, strictly from a percent perspective. He gets 14% onto Ice, while Ice is only able to inflict 3%, which adds up to an 11% swing in favor of Armada after the hit, and a 20% lead overall. After falling to center stage, we see Armada begin a dash back for the 3rd time in the first 4 seconds of this match. This time, Armada dashes towards Ice and attempts to cover Ice's move towards center with another up air. Ice is able to dodge by full hopping to top platform, and he goes for another short dash dance to wait out a follow-up response from Armada. Armada completes his full hop with a falling nair, and Ice falls through the platform to hit a back air and punish Armada's end lag. Fox's Bear has a total of 39 frames, but is interruptible as soon as frame 38. It can also be auto-cancelled, meaning it's an aerial which produces the same amount of landing lag as a regular jump. On frame data sheets like this, you'll see the auto-cancel shown with a set of angle brackets. The denotation 324 for Fox's back air means he can auto-cancel the aerial if he lands before frame 3 or after frame 24. If we count the frames starting from Ice initiating his back air, we can see that he becomes actionable again after 19 frames, which indicates the use of an L-cancel to half his landing lag. Looking at Armada, he becomes actionable after 12 frames of hit lag, meaning Armada successfully crouch-cancelled Ice's back air. If Armada was unsuccessful in the crouch cancel, he would be in hit stun for 18 frames. At this point, Armada has approximately 4 frames of advantage as Ice is still landing with a bear, but he goes for a down tilt. This move is much slower than a CC down smash, hitting on frames 12 to 13 as opposed to down smash's first hit on frames 5 to 6. Due to the long startup for Armada's down tilt, Ice is able to dash away without receiving a counterattack. Ice dashes back towards Armada and earns a grab, going for an up throw into back air to rack on some more percent. The two exchange some neutral interactions, and here Armada gets an opening from a dash attack followed by a missed tech on the side platform from Ice. With Ice off stage, we get a very similar situation to Cyrox's recovery in episode 1, where the Fox player has a few options for recovery: go high, sweet spot the ledge, or fire Fox straight through. Armada's positioning and subsequent forward air covers the sweet spot and straight through options, which makes them much less attractive, so Ice recovers high and lands on the side platform. Ice contests Armada's return to stage with a fall-through platform back air and tries to answer Armada's recovery options with a drop-off shine turnaround back air. Armada double jumps to avoid this, but Ice lands back on stage and responds with a quick double jump into another bear. Armada parasols to the ledge and is actually able to clip Ice with its lingering hitbox, which is right below the umbrella. Before completing his descent, however, we see Armada open the parasol just before landing on stage. The end lag for landing with an open parasol is 30 frames, versus the much faster end lag for landing with a closed parasol of 4 frames. Regardless of the landing lag, Ice inputs a nair on the very frame Armada lands. With Fox nair hitting on frame 4, either end lag scenario would still likely result in Armada being hit. Conveniently enough, with no crouch cancel attempt, a Fox nair against Peach will begin knocking down at 68%. We see a successful knockdown against Armada, which puts him in a tech chase situation, and Armada inputs a roll to the right just frames after Ice completes a dash dance to the left. Armada uses a jab as a fast get-up option to try to stop Ice's dash in, but Ice CCs the hit and earns a down tilt. Ice seems to look for a shine turnaround into presumably a back air, but realizes he can't reach Armada and resets the situation. Ice goes for a full hop bear and follows it with an up tilt upon landing. If we pause right here, we see Armada and Ice's character models overlap, and it appears as if Armada's fair should hit. Peach's fair only hits on frames 16 to 20 in its total of 51 frames though, and the hitbox for this move doesn't extend awfully far below Peach, so Ice is able to catch Armada airborne with up tilt as a result. With Armada at 88%, this up tilt places him in hit stun for 61 frames. Armada inputs an up B after becoming actionable to escape a potential up air from Ice, and Ice just barely misses a second up air attempt as Armada comes down. Armada then lands on the right platform, but this time he lands with his parasol closed, which again only has 4 frames of end lag. This allows Armada to get a shield up in time to block Ice's up smash, and Armada can now try to punish the miss. After failing to connect with the smash attack, Ice puts up his own shield and is able to block Armada's float nair. Ice also slides off the platform to avoid a follow-up from Armada, which is a grab here. Peach's standing grab has a total of 30 frames, which at this positioning is more than enough time for Ice to land a counterattack. He earns a reverse hit bear and does not link into any additional damage. Armada then shield stabs Ice right here and punishes Ice's recovery with a bear that pushes Ice towards the opposite ledge. Ice ledge dashes and performs a relatively safe jab on Armada's shield, then inputs a dash dance to see Armada's response. With Armada still holding shield, Ice gets a grab and down throws, which will knock down Peach at any percent, so it's a decent way to force a tech chase kill at high percents. Ice misses the up smash follow-up but prevents a low float punish from Armada with an immediate down smash to push Armada away. Now we can take a look at what made this first stock so unbelievably memorable. Let's watch.
Wow, that down smash stops him right in
Wow!
the track.
What is that movement, Ice? What is that movement? Completely playing with Armada. Just, I'm here. Come, up smash, dude.
Ice short hops towards Armada and shoots a single laser which tacks on 3%. This doesn't really matter too much since Ice has a number of threatening options available to him with Armada already at high percent. Even at the corner of the stage, Armada can still crouch cancel a potential bear and get an Omsa tech up to 188%. Up smash from Ice at this point will kill regardless of DI, but again if Armada crouch cancels the hit, he can live up to 136%. A falling up air will also grant Ice the kill in similar fashion to the up smash, and even a nair would take the stock if Armada doesn't DI at all. After the laser, Ice walks towards Armada for just a few frames, and then immediately dashes back into a moonwalk again towards Armada. He short hops away towards center stage, then wavelands back into Armada's space and begins another dash dance. Right here, Ice starts to tighten up his dash dances almost to intimidate Armada into flinching. He then attempts a full hop up air above Armada's shield to stuff a potential full hop escape. When Armada stays in shield, Ice lands to initiate another dash dance and wait out Armada's response. Ice begins his dash away just frames after Armada jumps out of shield, which places him just around center stage. And after he sees that Armada committed to moving towards center with a jump out of shield nair, Ice can clean up the stock with an up smash.
Wow, that down smash stops him right in
Wow!
the track.
What is that movement, Ice? What is that movement? Completely playing with Armada. Just, I'm here. Come, up smash, dude.
The way Ice handles his movement in this sequence is like a tug of war, a lot of subtle back and forth micro movements where he gives his opponent space and quickly takes it away in order to trip up his opponent's response. This is still one of my favorite sets to watch to this day to study purposeful and intimidating movement. The craziest part though is that Ice didn't even take a game. Although Ice went down 3-0 in the set, he practically defined the term footsies with respect to melee in this one clip. Overall, this play just goes to show that anyone can be menacing without necessarily hitting your opponent, which is just another aspect of what makes melee so freaking dynamic.
It's his maniac shriek! He's going to attack!
Just make sure your opponent thinks you're intimidating too. Thanks for watching. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, Walt here. Thanks again to Schmoo and Gentlefox for their melee knockback calculator, and as always, links to any reference data sources will be in the description below. This series is brought to you by Patreon, which is the best way to directly support the channel and to help produce these episodes more regularly. If you want to be a channel producer, please check the link in the description and take advantage of some of the perks you can get through your patronage, like thumbnails, video scripts, sneak peeks / behind the scenes, and your name in the credits. Speaking of the Patreon, I'd like to give a special thanks to our Tier 5 patron for this month, Ventus Official. Ventus asked me to give a shout out to his friend Pixel Demise on YouTube. This guy makes some seriously great analysis content. Ventus actually just recently showed me his channel and I'm already hooked, so if that sort of thing interests you, I would definitely recommend his channel. If you see a play that you think would make for a good breakdown, feel free to tweet at me at turndownforwalt or message me on Discord. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check the Patreon out if you'd like to help push out more content. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.